Hey and welcome back to Blueprints. It's day 51 and today is the day where we finally at least start to figure out those keys in the underground. So this episode is going to look slightly differently to other ones. I'm just gonna pick up like this stuff. Okay, it's just a compass and a lockpicking kit. And then I'm gonna start off in the underground. So let's just go there. Normally when I have like a puzzle in front of me, I can either solve it instantly like during the episode, or alternatively I kind of solve it like on my own and then kind of talk about like my thought processes during the next episode. And that is normally fine, but I feel like this puzzle in particular we can kind of work together on. I have prepared like a little bit of a diagram in just a second where I'm going to go into to talk about like how we can solve this. We already have figured out two of those sigils, which is going to help us a lot. But how about we switch over? So this is Krita. This is the software I usually use to edit pictures and stuff. I have just added like a few of those tables here, and we can kind of fill those in because we already know a lot of information. I thought let's just go together and like talk about like all of the stuff that we have already found. First one is actually the core. We actually know each and every single core and the name of the region. Let me just fill this in real quick. So Orinda areas, obviously over here. We have arch areas, that's the mountain. Fan areas, that's the pentagon. Eraja is actually the hourglass. Nuance is the star. Mora J should be the rainbow. Vera would be the weird puzzle piece. And Korarika is the heart symbol. So this is completely done, right? Like we can just fill that in later on. That shouldn't be too much of an issue. And then the color. We do know that Orinda Aries is black and Arch Aries is red. I've also like drawn in like the symbols everywhere. That should hopefully be kind of readable. What else do we know? We do know that Araja is purple. This is like stuff we have from the school rooms, so we can just kind of put that one in. As well as Arch Aries is yellow. Oh wait, Fan area. I mixed that up. It's over here. Those are like the ones that are 100% confirmed. I'm going to talk about like some things that are like not as confirmed later on. Then we have the modes. Modes actually a little bit harder. We do know that I have it like over here. Like I have everything written down in front of me obviously, but it's kind of hard to put every single piece of information in here. So the first one is that Fan areas is actually a rather martial area, which is the first symbol. And Orindia areas was... You are metropolitan, right? The cool thing is, since we are standing here, we can literally just switch over and like look at it, which is the main reason why I went here, to like recheck the stuff that I already know. So yeah, we can see like this is this symbol there, this just stands for like the big cities in there. So I can just enter that here. Those are, I think, the only two that we have confirmed here. I'm going to talk about like more in a second. Because we know like one important thing, right? Like we have like 8 different realms, and like some of those tables actually have like 8 different symbols in here, right? Like for example, the modes, as well as the color, both of them have 8, as well as like the core, obviously, which means that every single one of the realms has to have exactly one corresponding, I guess, column in here, right? Like it needs a color, it needs a mode, and we can't have like anything double there because otherwise something doesn't work out. Also, we had the one card in the... I forgot what it was called. It was the treasury or something like that. Whatever, it's like the one room that we got from the underground. And like the first note basically said that none of the colors double, and then there was like another note afterwards, which was a handwritten red note that basically said that the previous one was a lie, so I'm assuming that's definitely a true one. So it makes sense here. On the other hand, we have like, wait, this were all the modes that were 100% confirmed right here. Then we have weather, and this is like something I noticed like the last time I was recording, and that is we only have like 7 types of weather, which I thought was really interesting, but then I thought about it, and obviously arch areas, fan areas and Orindia areas are obviously going to have the exact same weather because they're still in the same location, right? It was just like a government change, not a location change, so it makes sense that both of those are actually fog, which is over here. The rest we can probably figure out in just a second, but that means that like all of the other ones have like every single weather phenomenon comes up once for the other ones, basically. Then we have roads. Orindia areas obviously use the railways. I mean, we still have like the big one in the underground. That is, by the way, not used anymore, which is why this doesn't double. Instead, fan areas actually uses roads. Something we can actually check on the other side. Which means that if we were to combine them, we can at least fill in everything like Orindia areas and fan areas already. Okay, those are now all filled in. Obviously, those are like the two that we have confirmed. But there are like a few more pieces of information that I figured out like over time. Let's start off down here. In Lost and Found, there's a symbol that shows heat, spiritual, and pink at the same time. So, my theory currently is that this is Vera, because we had the stamp about like Vera, and there was like this beach area, and there were like some people riding a turtle, and it really did seem kind of warm, which is why I'm thinking this might be it, but I'm gonna put like a question mark here. Otherwise, we had seen that arch areas, which is yellow, is also stormy, because we could see like they talked about like we weather together or something like that was their slogan. And it was also industrial. And we had like the mountain core symbol, so we can actually fill that one in already. So we have it in yellow. It's industrial, which is this one. We do have the right weather, which is this one. So now only the roads are missing, and we could technically guess them. The question is, what would it be? Like, I'm obviously assuming something industrial. We could have trains, technically, right? I don't expect that to be any sort of aviation, because that doesn't really make a lot of sense in that context. Horseback, maybe, but it's like not really industrial enough. Naval also doesn't really make a lot of sense, right? Like, there are a lot of options that we have. The only issue is that we have only 7 road options, so one of them has to double. My theory is, just because it's industrial, it's going to be either roads or trains. This is like the stuff that makes the most sense to me personally, so I'm gonna put like question marks. It could be either one of those. They would at least make sense to me. So we have like most of that stuff, so I am actually willing to guess ones. I'm actually not sure if I have this symbol in my open doors. We might need another key. The next thing that we do know is about nuance. We have this stamp where there's like one of those blimps on there, so I'm guessing these guys have the aviation. We also have like the star. I'm not sure about the color, it could be green. I'm also relatively sure that it's clear weather there, just because of like how the stamp looked. But this is mostly just a guess, which is why we're just putting in like some question marks here. It should be clearer like once we fill in like a little bit more of the board. Then we have Mora J. We do know that there's like a ship, and we have the rainbow symbol, so they are definitely going a bit more naval, which is over here. And they also talked about the White Sea, so maybe this is actually confirmation that this is actually the white symbol. It could also be blue, is like my first theory, but we don't actually have a blue color, so I'm gonna lean towards white. And the last one, which is probably the one that gives us the most information, is actually Korarika. Because we do know in like the dorm room, I forgot what the actual name was, and like from actually other places as well, that this is where the big academies are basically, right? Like the universities, and people actually go there to learn. So it makes sense that this would be a scholarly place. From the stamp, we also know that it's a snow area and that it's orange because of the flag that we had already seen. I don't think we do know about their roads though, but we can probably take a guess, right? Since then the mountains, I do think, right, like the interesting thing about like the roads is that there were 2 examples when it comes to like this symbol over here, right, like this here. Because it talks about camels, but it also talks about pack mules. And I think, if I think Frozen Mountain, I for some reason think pack mule, which is like the only reason why I have like any guess here. It could also just be horseback, but I feel like horses would probably be more in plains, right? I feel like since this is probably a difficult climb, you would probably have like some pack mule or something like that to help you out. I'm gonna put like my guess here. And if we assume that our guess is correct here, and by our I obviously mean my guess when it comes to the road type, then we have like another one basically solved. While we're at it, we can also guess like something else, and that is Mora J. Since we are talking about ships, and it looked like kind of a sailboat more or less, the weather is probably windy. It's like my guess. Obviously guessing here. That only leaves the mode. We don't actually know about them. Could be poetic. Didn't we have like another one? We had like the in the clock tower we had one. I don't think, had I written that one down? Okay, this is actually me looking into the previous episode. We had it in the clock tower. The symbol isn't actually white, it just looks white because of the color itself, but if you look at the symbols, this is actually violet and poetic, so I don't actually know where that's combined, but I'm gonna write it down. Now the question is, which of those colors is going to be violet, because we have not figured that one out. The only thing that is left is that Vera has turtles. It would be down here. I mean, looking at it, we don't have horseback yet. Something needs horseback. Could be a Raja. Wait a second. I have in my notes that a Raja's purple. Oh wait, we have that one. So it's purple, so it's poetic. Oh. That's actually interesting. But still, like talking about the roads, the only thing that's missing seems to be like horseback, assuming that like my previous guess is correct. So a Raja could be that. I mean, a Raja is to the south, it's not as mountainous. I wouldn't be too surprised, but I don't actually know too much about them otherwise, I feel like. In any case, that was probably enough of the diagram. We are probably going to see the diagram again and again whenever I find like new information about like the different locations. But technically we have like a lot of stuff about arch areas, don't we? When it comes to arch areas, we're actually only guessing the type of road. I'm looking at like the notes here just now. So let's just put it in, all the stuff that you already know. Color of the side should be yellow. Yellow is just this green, not this line, this is red. This is orange. Is this green? This is purple? Because like my notes are kind of weird about that. Empty dots might be white. Is this yellow? I think this is yellow. Also there's like a little bit of color missing over there, or like everything else is white and this is like kind of black. Well, so be it. We do know you are industrial. It's not this mode. Like some of the modes definitely look different to what I have in my notes, but I can probably figure it out. This is industrial. Then the only thing that's missing is this wheel. Wait, why am I have to press the knob, right? Yeah, okay. It's this thing again. Okay, do we try out that first? Wait. How do I change the type of weather though? Is it this one? I think it's this one. Everything is kind of just moving. Okay, we have like the lightning strikes. That makes sense. Oh wait, I should have left this one. It was actually set correctly. This is trains. This is aviation. This is the... I mean, you could also try the mule here. I don't see why we shouldn't be trying that at least. But I don't think this is it. I think it would be either the trains or like the regular roads. It's definitely not turtles. This is... Okay, this is the right one. Now I just need to have the color again. By the way, in this case, I'm actually willing to guess if I'm just guessing between like 2 or 3 options, but this is kind of the limit. Otherwise, I would like to figure it out, but like narrowing it down by just guessing every once in a while isn't probably too bad. Okay, it's not roads then. Could it be train? It's trains. Okay, so one of my guesses at least was correct. Okay. What can we learn over here? Definitely what I expected after seeing the rest. Look at all those buildings. They're so nice and circular. I should probably write down the order, by the way, as well, but let's talk about that after reading. We arrived here after a few days of sailing, and it made me realize how much more convenient it would have been in the old days when the railway tracks extended all the way north. Arch Areas is a destination with which I am well acquainted, having traveled here countless times on business for Sinclair. This time, however, I will avoid the familiar towns and factories and will instead trek along the northern coast, an area with which I am wholly unfamiliar. Okay. This is after sailing. This is important. Didn't you go south in the beginning? I mean, I'm gonna have to write that down anyway, because we have to go back to the room 46 and then figure out like the order of stuff. I do remember that like the start and the end are basically in fan areas or like Orindia areas, depending on what you call it. Just to be smart about this, I'm actually taking screenshots of this so I can maybe even solve more later on today. That also means that we can probably open this box. Morajai box, the Arch Areas variation. Arch Areas was the very first realm to introduce a new color to the traditional monochromatic tiles of the box. Given the number of ship routes and trade relationships between the two realms, this is not surprising. Fittingly, the variation itself was based on the brass compasses manufactured in Arch Areas that were often traded to sailors in exchange for the valued Morajai puzzle boxes. Okay, this obviously kind of makes sense. Wait. It started in Morajai and we had the black and white on there, right? In the beginning, because it's like monochromatic, it's like how they call it. So it would make sense that this is the white then, right? Because like normally they are introducing like the other colors of the realms. It would make sense now that I think about it, right? Like to keep Morajai as white, which also means that since there was like the talk about like taking the ships, it's probably that Herbert was in Morajai first and then went over to Arch Areas. Anyway, we also have green here. Wait, weren't you the first one to introduce those? I mean, maybe it's also for something else. Wait. Green flipped. What does yellow do? Yellow just moves upwards. Okay. And we need yellow in all the corners. Okay, let me reset. We need yellow in all the corners. What did black do? You go around. Okay. Let's put one here. Move you here. Was that even smart? Probably not. Like I can move you around like this. Like obviously I can lock in like one like this, but this is not quite what we had in mind here. Let me reset that one real quick. It's been some time since I had to solve these. Okay. You move around. This could be like one in the corner, but it would be ideal to have one here. Let's get you over there. That didn't actually help me, like at all. Unless I move you like this. But I need to get you up here. Can I get you in the middle? Oh wait, that's stupid again. Why am I trying to get you in the middle? That doesn't make sense. Okay, let me try again. Because I feel like I'm stuck at this point already. I am not allowed to put like more than one more in here. So if I move you over there, for example. No, wait, let's get the gray one out of here. Like this. I move you over twice. Then I have you in place. But it doesn't help me. Because, like, I can flip you over, technically. Wait a second, is that so bad, actually? If I get you here... get you in place, and then get you in place, then I have all of them. Okay, that wasn't actually too bad. Allowance! Don't really need it, but it's nice to have. Anyway... So I can fill that one into my notes in just a moment, and then we can go over the next area, which is Araja. Do I have enough in Araja? Let me check my notes. Okay, for Araja we're actually missing a little bit more. We do have that it's poetic and that it's purple, but we don't know about like the weather or the road. Since we're still missing horses, I could guess horses. But it still wouldn't give us enough information, right? Like I would have to guess a little bit too much for me to comfortably guess here. I kind of want to revisit the history of the region, right? Like the book, because I feel like I can reread that section and then I could probably fill it in. But this one, actually, we do have most of the information. We only have to guess like once at the end because we don't know about the road type. Let's start off with the obvious. This is the academic region. Which is like the... wait, it's this one. It's 3 lines. No, not this one. It's this one. This is the academic one. Then we don't know about like the exact road type. But I'm willing... but we do know about the weather, by the way. Weather is snow. Should have thought about that earlier, but that's okay. I still don't know why both of them are getting triggered like that. This is heat waves. We don't know about those. This is the right one. This is snow. Then we only need to figure out which type of road we want to say. I want to say pack mule. It makes logical sense to me. So let's see if I can find their symbol. Those are trains, aviation. This is pack mule, and then I have to go for the orange color. That's not it. Okay. What else would make sense? Because like this is obviously like just a guess mostly. We do know that the doves came from there, but I don't feel like they are using doves to fly around. So this is like my first guess. It's probably not aviation, especially with like all the snowfall. It could be horseback. Like we still need horseback somewhere, so I am willing to just try that one. Because it's definitely not going to be turtleback. Like aviation Could aviation work? I mean, it seems like we are in a mountainous region, so maybe, right? Like to get up there, but I feel like this could be a lot of work, right? Like I'm thinking about like the logistics. How would flying around that area work if it's like a mountainous, snowy region, right? Like snowstorms, and the rest would make this really hard. It could be just roads. Okay, let's talk about this. We have as options naval. Probably not. We already have like another naval region where it makes more sense. But then again, they do talk. No, wait. I'm thinking about like another region right now. This is the island to the west, if I recall correctly, right? Yeah, it's the island to the very west. There's actually a massive continent, and I'm not sure if like the smaller islands belong to this one or to Vera. Assuming that the turtles are actually turtles and not tortoises, could make more sense if they are in Vera. Right, like those smaller islands, because like getting between islands on like the back of a water turtle makes a lot more sense. So then we have roads. Which, fair enough, I don't actually know what roads is supposed to mean. Horseback, train, We already have trained twice, so it's probably not that one. It has to be something that's unique. By the way, what's the most unique one that we haven't had yet? I mean, it could be... Like, we've already had the roads. We can't really repeat those. That's like my issue currently. We have these all locked in. It's literally just horseback and pack mules that makes sense here. So let's just say I'm gonna go for horses instead. Can I please? Oh wait, I'm already in. That's why I can't move. Which one? It's still this one, right? Yeah. This is turtles. This is regular roads. This is a horse. Everything didn't actually change this time around. That's nice. It's also not horseback. That's actually really weird then. Is there like a combination that we don't know about? Okay, this is trains. This is aviation. This is pack mule. This is turtleback. This is roads. Did we have roads there already? This is horse? Did I just click something away where I was confused? Pack mule? Turtle? No, this is, okay, yeah, those are roads. But it can't be roads because we had roads already and we already had one repeating. So assuming that everything has to be used, it has to be something else. Turtles doesn't really make a lot of sense. Which is like my current predicament here. It can't really be anything else but pack mules or horses, right? Unless something in there is just not used. Which is like an option, but we only have... Right, like we have the naval roads, like via ships and stuff. We have the regular roads in... I should probably repeat that properly. So in Mora J, we have the naval option. In Fan Areas, we have roads. Then we don't know about Araja or Korarika. They could be horseback, because horseback is something we have not had yet. We have the trains, which we have both in Arch areas and Orida areas. We have the aviation, which is probably a nuance, because we have seen the blimp there on the stamp. Then we have the pack mule, which we don't have anywhere yet. And then we have turtleback, which is probably Vera, just because we had both the cassette with like the title, as well as the stamp. So that doesn't really make too much sense to me. Right, this is horseback. And we're talking about orange, right? So it should be that triangle, just in case I misclicked somewhere. Okay, pack mule. And the pack mule. Okay, it's not this. So I guess I'm wrong about something in here. Okay, I'm gonna leave it then though. Maybe I can find some information about something in there. Maybe it's actually not even snowy in that region, right? That could be an option. Could it be though? I wouldn't know where else to put the snow though. And then we have the last one, Mora J, which has... I mean, we know very little about them. I'm still guessing it's going to be weather. Okay, we could also talk about like the modes, which modes are open. It cannot be academic, it cannot be poetic, it cannot be martial, it cannot be what the factory is called, that's like a fancy word. Industrial, obviously, and it cannot be metropolitan, because we have these ones already. So we only have like 3 modes left. Those are agrarian, we have tribal, and we have... what's the other one? Spiritual. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest, I always feel like when somebody talks about like the tribal in here, I feel like that's weird to put it on there, right? Because there's... I don't know if I would call it derogatory, but kind of, right? Like it's... If I hear tribal, I think less civilized, which sounds like... maybe that's like an issue on my end, but it feels like something that I wouldn't call myself, I guess. Maybe there's like a nicer way to say that, but might just be me. And I also don't feel like, unless they're actually talking like tribal in the sense that like they are just like a lot of different groups, right? Like less as a state of, I'm gonna call it like technology. I'm thinking that obviously because I've played like games where like a tribal stage is, for example, something in a technological progression more than talking about the fact that there are just a lot of tribes of like different people, right? Like a very multicultural society basically. I'm guessing they're more going for that then. Where would that be? I mean, it could make sense for Vera again, because they have like multiple islands. I could see that being the case, but otherwise I feel like I'm kinda a little bit stumped here. Well, in any case, we have made some progress on this puzzle. Again, I'm gonna have to repeat this every once in a while. Like whenever I find a piece of information, I am going to add that one to the list and we can talk about that. Right, since now it's like just a file I can show you whenever. And this should be fine. Is there anything else I can do here real quick? I have obviously not done a lot here. I actually had like another plan for today, but I feel like since I'm already recording for like way too long just talking about this stuff, let's just have a... You know what? I'm actually really silly. I just noticed something. I was always confused by the fact that we are basically randomly guessing which door we are opening, instead of like just opening, you know, the ones that we know about. Oh. First of all, I noticed that like all of the all of the cores are actually on the floor. I don't know why it took me so long, but it also says Oven Nevare, which is like the thing that our uncle said in his final letter once we got the estate. I don't actually know what that's supposed to mean though. Would have been a lot easier had I just paid attention, because not to be fair, we can't actually fill in too much else anyway. But at least we figured out like one of those, which is nice. Like I'm kind of frustrated now because I can't actually solve all of them. Like in a... I thought I could at least get this one solved, but for some reason I just completely missed it apparently. Because anything else but snow doesn't really make a lot of sense here. Also currently thinking, I just looked at the Lost and Found thing again. It says heat, spiritual, and pink. I'm still thinking that Vera is probably that area. So there would be spiritual, so we don't even have like the tribal in there. Which one would be tribal then? I genuinely don't know. Okay, how about this? I am going to leave that for today's episode. We are going to continue with this like basically every episode where we find like a few more pieces of information. We still need to open like all of the other doors. I am still unsure about the following thing. Like the last key, okay, there are two last keys. One of them is on a throne. I don't know where that is. And the second one is inside of the room. So it's something we can't actually get. So, there are a few other things that I'm thinking about, like that I actually want to work on today. One of them would be going for the, what's it called? Like the whole school trip, I'm gonna call it. That would have been something. Right, like get like all of the classrooms and maybe get the final lesson in. Alternatively, I wanted to get the Blessing of the Monk, which would require me to reset a lot. Because I want to, first of all, get the antechamber outside, because like the outside, the outer room would allow us to do something probably, assuming that I can actually move it outside. There was like the drawing in the diary. That's something I really want to do. And I also want to move the I still forgot what it's called. I'm just gonna check it here. The treasure trove. Okay, for some reason I couldn't remember. So, one of the notes says that the true treasure of the treasure trove is outside, and then the next note was like a lie, which basically said that the previous one was a lie. So I'm guessing that this is actually a truth. I have to get this room outside somehow, which would also be something I can do with like the blessing of the monk. I still believe it's the monk one, but I'm terrible at that. So I am going to just have like a regular run because I'm still in the blessing here. And the next episode I am probably just going to go and try to like reset until I get that shrine again, because I need to get the shrine after the blessing is done, and then I need to get like the right one, and I might just like next episode try through like 10,000 attempts until I get like the right combination that I need. But I still have like an outer room I can check. Nothing too interesting. Let's just pick a berry. Oh! This does not work outside here. But this is a four-way room, as we can check. Right? Because I remember I wanted to check like any outside room that's like a four-way intersection. And this one clearly does not let me out on like any of the sides. So I'm quite sure that I actually need the other part, like the antechamber explicitly, because the other rooms wouldn't work, assuming that the drawing is actually true. Wow, I haven't even picked up my allowance yet. 155, that's a massive start. I'm not gonna use it, but imagine. Let's see if we can find an interesting experiment for the rest of the day though. Still nothing interesting, okay. Okay, I just added like more allowance. It doesn't really matter that much, let's be honest. And the guest bedroom, I like guessing. I just lost one, okay. But didn't get any bonus. We have 2 gems, but this is, by the way, something I noticed like while editing. The items, like if it's a room with items, they are going to show up over here. I didn't get any items though, which means this is not a bedroom. This is not a boudoir. This could be the bunk room. I would have to test that one. Her ladyship's chamber could be an option. Maid's chamber maybe. Master bedroom. I didn't pay attention to how many steps I just had. Maybe. Definitely not the nursery. Not the servants' quarters. Otherwise there would be a singular key here. Could be the aquarium. I would have gotten +1 allowance just now because the aquarium obviously counts as everything. Hovel dormitory. Let's first explore. Maybe I'm gonna figure it out later. It's not the hovel at least. And I just locked myself in. I mean, to be fair, I didn't really plan on having a big run here. I just had to check like some minor things. That's fine though. I guess we are done for today. Again, I just want to have like a short run. I just experimented with like the berry picker. Was a stupid idea here. Let's see if I can at least get the guess right. I'm just gonna guess it's the spare bedroom, because nothing changed. Let's just pretend spare bedroom. Aww. I also noticed like if I get like items and stuff, I can also get like stars. Like for example, I did get stars in between, so the guest bedroom has some interesting effects. But it doesn't matter today. Didn't really get anything, but that is fine. But at least I did get the a package for tomorrow. In any case, let's end this day. Like we figured out like a little bit of stuff. We were able to at least make some plans for the future. This is like what this episode was actually mainly about. Again, next time I'm going to be done with like the blessing of the berry picker. So that means I can just spam like all of the blessings, or like not the blessing, I can spam days, I'm gonna call it, right? Like I'm just gonna end the day until I find the shrine outside and I get the correct blessing. But again, this is going to be next episode. This time we're just going to call it a day. Also, by the way, I did notice that I lost the master key. I forgot to put that one back like in one of the last episodes. Look at that, the cramped bungalow. 8 rooms. Rank 3, I mean, this has definitely been a day but I feel like the underground was the important part of today. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this different episode to usual, and a very short one. I'm assuming it's probably just like half an hour. I hope you enjoyed, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. I'll be seeing you next time. Till then, have a good one, and bye bye.